I've been doing intermittent fasting every single day for years now, but some people still want to argue that it's not sustainable. The majority of the fit and healthy people that I know, and that you probably know too, are not stuffing food into their faces every hour of the day. The majority of them actually use the same super simple and sustainable approach that I'm gonna give you in this video. For the first few years, I wasn't getting the results I wanted. I felt like I was always hungry. I was always tired till I had my first bite of food. Or if I wasn't, my energy would just crash in the middle of the day. And that's why a lot of people actually give up on intermittent fasting. But after years of trial and error and coaching dozens of people, I've found a strategy that genuinely works. It's so easy that I genuinely don't understand why everybody wouldn't want to hop on this. Because the benefits of intermittent fasting when you do it right are absolutely insane. You're not starving, you're more focused, you're actually more energized throughout the day, and you're burning your stubborn belly fat all day long. You're getting rid of all the extra fat without even having to really try. The whole goal of intermittent fasting is super simple. You're gonna push your first meal later into the day. You're not skipping meals, you're just eating your meals in a smaller eating window. So your body is going to be forced to use your extra body fat as its primary source of fuel. Timing is where most people overcomplicate this. You don't have to start eating at 1 p.m. and end your meals at 9 p.m. on the dot. That's too rigid. You just need to start eating somewhere like 6 to 8 hours after you wake up in the morning. So some days that might be 10 a.m., some days it might be noon, and that's okay. Some people love routine, but they actually forget to listen to their body. If you feel like you're starving in the morning or you have no energy, then eat earlier in the day. You're just gonna stop eating a little bit earlier at night. When you're fasting, your body is in its most productive state. Your growth hormone goes up, your focus improves, and your fat burning skyrockets. That's the beauty of it. You're just burning fat while you're working or while you're studying or while you're just living your life. You don't have to dedicate hours in the gym to cardio just to burn the body fat that you want to get rid of so you can finally have your ideal physique. If you've ever tried fasting and you just feel hungry all day, here's how to fix it. The first thing you need to do is to delay your caffeine. If you drink caffeine right after waking, you will crash earlier, and this will cause you to get hungry way sooner. Instead, just wait 45 to 60 minutes before you have your first cup of coffee. This means you can get up in the morning, take a shower, make your bed, do these things before you touch coffee. This stabilizes your cortisol and it keeps the hunger away for longer. Coffee is strategic in itself. You can use it 2 to 3 hours before your first meal to boost your energy, but also suppress your appetite. And here, you want to be drinking like black coffee. Maybe you'll have a little bit of healthy fat in it. You'll throw some heavy cream or some butter in it, or maybe even some natural sweetener like stevia or monk fruit, or maybe a little bit of allulose. But you don't want to be putting in things like sucralose or aspartame, these really chemical-filled artificial sweeteners, because they cause inflammation. Some of them even spike your insulin, and that's gonna skyrocket your appetite, making it almost impossible to stay away from food. The second thing with caffeine is you can cut it off a little bit earlier in the day. Just stop drinking caffeine after your first meal because you don't want it to affect your sleep or your recovery. The third secret is to use something carbonated, but again, stay away from things with artificial sweeteners. The carbonation literally fills up your stomach and makes you feel more full. So have this during the time when you're fasting. Carbonated water is an amazing option. And then the fourth thing is if hunger really hits hard before your first meal, but you don't want to have a bunch of calories yet, you don't really want to start your eating window, you can try something like a little bit of healthy fat. They're highly satiating. They will keep the hunger away for a little bit longer. But if that doesn't work, you might try just eating something like a little bit of fruit. For a lot of people, that tiny hit of natural sugar from the fruit will refill your liver's glycogen and it will push your hunger signals off for maybe a few more hours. The goal here isn't to starve yourself. It's to control your appetite until you're really hungry, until you're craving something healthy and nutritious, and make fasting just feel natural and easy. Now, once you break your fast, this is where most people actually ruin it for themselves. And you're probably thinking, oh, they likely overeat because they haven't eaten yet today. But that's actually not true. A lot of people underfeed themselves when they break their fast. They force themselves to barely eat, or they stop eating way too early, and then they end out binging or crashing out later on in the week. Don't do that. When it's time to eat, eat to fulfillment. Eat until you are full and you're happy with the meal that you just had. Because you're fasting, you've built up a huge calorie buffer. You haven't had any calories yet today. So eat the foods that you enjoy. Eat a lot of steak, a lot of eggs, a lot of butter. Eat a nice burger if that's what makes you happy. Another super effective trick is to separate your carbs out of your meals. This means just eating your protein and your fats first, and then waiting a little bit until you have the carbs after your meal. So for example, eat a big plate of steak and eggs, and then a little bit later, have something like your fries or your sweet potato. Part of the reason I like it is it's like having two rewards, two little dinners, but it also allows you to stay full for longer, and you don't get that like what's next reaction after you eat, because you still have something to eat after your first little bit of food. You don't have to stress about 3 super balanced meals. I eat less in the morning so that I can eat more at night, because I know my cravings come more at night. I'll cut out some of the carbs in the morning so I can have more carbs at night. You need to figure out what makes it sustainable for you. Yes, you're intermittent fasting, but you're not really dieting even. You're just eating smarter, eating healthier, more whole foods. But fasting alone isn't gonna build you a great physique. You need to be doing heavy resistance training as well. You need to lift weights. That's what's gonna keep your muscle and your metabolism high. And it's gonna allow you to speed up your loss of body fat even more. Focus on resistance training, heavy lifting 3 to 5 times a week. And when it comes to cardio, if you're really training hard, if you're intermittent fasting and you're eating right, you don't have to do a lot of cardio. You don't have to suffer on the treadmill or the Stairmaster. I used to do tons of cardio thinking it would make me burn more fat, but it just made me more hungry and made me suffer more throughout the day. So then I would end up eating more, and then it defeats the whole purpose. Now I just walk a little bit more throughout the day. I walk to the gym, I walk to class, I walk for like 10 minutes after each meal. It's super simple, and it doesn't spike your appetite. And that's how you make fasting sustainable for the long term without starving yourself, without burning out. Intermittent fasting really does work, but you have to do it right. You have to figure out what works for you. What works for someone else might not work for you. Don't starve yourself. Don't obsess over times or meal plans. Push your first meal later. Use caffeine and carbonated water to help you as a little bit of a crutch if you need it. And then when you break your fast, enjoy your meals. Start working with your body, understand how it works, and then you're gonna stop fighting all of the hunger. That makes fasting effortless. You'll shred fat, you'll stay full, and you'll have a little bit more freedom around what you are eating. These are the strategies that I wish I learned years ago and that have made dieting super sustainable for me. If you want an example of what I eat in a day, DM me on Instagram. The link will be in the description. Or if you have any other questions, my goal here is genuinely to help you guys. And if you like this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're not, because we are building the best version of you right here, right now.